Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So let me show you guys how I made this umbrella gown using A-line cotton. It's very easy to make and it's not time consuming, and I made mine in such a way that I can use V neckline for front and another day I can go with round neckline for front. So it has cut together sleeve, and I know you guys would love to try it as well. Hi guys, my name is Fatima A. Yusuf, and on this platform I share sewing tutorials. If it's something you like to learn, let's get to it, and don't forget to subscribe. So I have 3 yards of fabric here: my elastic tape, my scissors, my chalk, my bias, and my measuring tape. So let's get to it. This is my 3 yards of fabric. I'm going to fold it into 2 like I normally do, so you can watch how I fold because people keep asking me, right? So you can use Ankara fabric, you can use Flora, you can use crepe, any material you want. I used Ankara. Ankara will actually make it fuller for you understand? Okay, so I went ahead to measure my full length. Then you add your desired allowance, 2 inches or more based on your choice. And I went ahead to measure the sleeve so that I can what I have. I had 26 inches, is 3 yards. Now for the neckline, remember I said I want to be able to use back and front anytime I want, so I used 3.5 for the width. You can use any measurement you want. Then for the back piece, the round neckline, I used 3 inches so that I can use it as my front neckline anytime I want. So I'll just form the round neckline, 0.5 by 3 inches. Then for the V neckline, I used 6 inches like I normally do, so we have 3.5 by 6 inches for V neckline. So I have my round neckline and my V neckline. You can use any dimension you want. So after doing this, the next thing is to mark from my shoulder down to where I want to be my bust line. I marked 11 here because that's going to be my sleeve opening, but you can go and you can just use your 9 or your 10 inches that you normally do. I think that would be better. So you mark your 10 inches instead of 11. Then you mark your sleeve opening to be 11 like I did for the A-line stylish A-line gown I recently posted. That is before this on my channel, right? So I marked 11. I was actually thinking, should I do 10? I just went ahead to do 11. So on that 11, I'm going to impute my bust divided by 4. In case your waist is bigger than your bust and you want to manage that, like you want to use this 3 yard, I would advise you go ahead and impute your waist measurement on the bust line instead of using your bust measurement. I hope you guys get it. But you can use your bust measurement if you know that your bust is more than your waist. In this case, you don't really need your hip measurements because it's a flay gown, like it's an umbrella gown, you understand? It's a very flay gown. So I went ahead and imputed my bust divided by 4. Like I said, if your waist is bigger, please use it. So for allowance, I wanted adding 4, but I felt like 4 would be too much because there is no zipper and I'm not using belt. So for this addition, you can use 2 inches, 2.5. You can use 1.5. I used 2.5, but in case you want it a little bit fitted, there is no zipper at your bust line. At your bust area, you can use 2 inches or use 1.5. If you use 1.5, you use half inches to sew. That means you've added 1 inches. That means you've added 4 inches to your normal bust circumference. I used 2.5 for mine, so I use half inches to stitch, and then I've added 2. So that means I added 8 inches extra. So it was not really fitted around the bust part, but I will have just used 2 inches or 1.5. But it depends on your choice, like I said. And if you're using a zipper, your bust, you can add half inches ease or 1 inches ease allowance, then plus your half inches for sewing. And if you're using a zipper, you fold your back separately from your front so that you can remove your 1 inch or your 1.5 inches zipper allowance, right? So from that my bust, I took a slant line to the other end. You do same thing if you're using zipper. The only difference is that the back piece will be different from the front piece by the allowance you want to use for that your zip, you understand? So you can still put zip in this gown, but I don't really see the need of using zip. But if you want to use zip, please do. So now I went ahead to mark my pockets. For my shoulder, I marked 16 inches, and for pocket opening, I went down 6 inches from that 16, you understand? And I'll just use my free hand to form my pocket. Please don't mind the shape of my pocket, just do your own shape the way you normally do your pockets. Don't mind the shape. Then I'm done drafting. I'll just go to the down part of the slant line at the other end and go up by 2 and form my curve so they can be equal, but that's optional. I'm using 3 yards here, right? And if you're using Ankara fabric, you might be needing more than 3 yards depending on your length, your full gown length, because you need to measure using per yard for your length, not the height of the Ankara fabric, because Ankara fabric doesn't come with length. So you should consider that if you want to use Ankara fabric. I went there to cut out my fabric. I'll be cutting round neckline for both back and front. Now cut the sides. When I'm done, I'll come back, separate back from front and cut the V neckline separately. And for the sleeve, you can do any style of sleeve you want. Maybe bell sleeve. As you can see, there's enough fabric, you can do that. You can leave your sleeve without putting elastic tape. You can just add like a band to it with the remaining fabric. It's also going to be fine. So you can do any sleeve you want. And if you're using Ankara, you don't need to cut together pocket sleeve. You can cut your sleeve, your armhole you normally do for your gowns. You can do your cut together pocket, then cut a separate sleeve. Like they do different type of sleeves for this type of gowns, right? Yes. So I'm done. I removed back from front so that I can cut my V neckline. But in case you're using the same neckline for front and back, you can just cut it all at once. So we are done drafting and cutting. Very easy. Under 10 minutes you are done. So like I said earlier, if your waist circumference is more than your bust, at your bust line, please impute your waist measurement and add your allowances to it. I hope you guys understand me. So that's what I was trying to tell you guys. I can use my hip self. I can even use my hip measurement up there and take it slightly. And if you have 3.5 yards, it's actually going to be fuller than mine, you understand? So you guys 3.5 yard, but it depends on your length. So I'm done drafting and cutting. I'll just go ahead and bias my neckline. I had pieces left, right? I can use it for interface. I can create splitting at the down part. I can still do style with it, but I'm not doing that. I will bias my neckline, stitch the shoulders, and then hem my sleeve opening in to create elastic casing. Right, I've done all that here, as you can see. Then I'll just bring my elastic tape. I'll measure the length I'll be using 9 in this case. You measure where your sleeve will stop and measure the round sleeve of it so that you will know what to cut out for your elastic tape. You want it loose, you want it fitted, it's your choice. So I went with 9 for mine. Yours might be 7, yours might be 8, so please measure. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces and I'm going to use my safety pin to pass it through the elastic casing. This is just me trying it on. I didn't want it to be too tight, I didn't want it to be too loose. We'll get my office pin, safety pin, I'll just use it to pass it through the elastic casing. This shouldn't be hard. You already created your casing and then you just pass it through. When one end is already in, you stitch it, and then when your office pin comes out safety pin comes out, you stitch the other end to safeguard your elastic tape. You understand? I'm going to do that for both sleeve. So you create a casing. This 0.5 inches wide tape, so my casing will be a little bit more than that so that I can accommodate the tape. So doing that, right, I'm just going to fold it into 2 and I'm going to stitch the bodies of this gown together. So I measure what I had after adding my tape. I had 5 inches and I'm just going to be using ½ inch to sew. So my sleeve opening after stitching will be 4.5 inches. So I'm going to show you the manner I stitched. So from the sleeve opening 0.5, I stitch in this direction. Just look how I'll point it. I went down, went inside to the pocket, I went down up, and then I went out again and I took it straight down slightly and I hemmed the down part a little bit. So this is the final result on me. So I used 3 yards to create this umbrella gown or flay gown using a line pattern. What do you guys think about it? Will you love to give it a trial? And what do you think of the final results and the process I took you guys through? If this video has been helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, drop your comment, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.